Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Learn Russian with Learn Russian. We're up to lesson 66, and this is the last lesson about participles. And once again, we have adverbial participles, but this time these are with perfective verbs. Last time it was imperfective verbs. Now we have participles with perfective verbs. So let's go ahead and get this over with, and then we are done with participles for now. Believe me, you're not the only ones saying, "Oh, I'm glad this is almost over." But then, look at what we have after that. Verbs of motion again. You thought you were done with them. You thought wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do this one thing at a time. So, yes, adverbial participles. You will continue studying verbial participles formed from perfective verbs. Let's go ahead and get right to the first dialogue. This dialogue is between a journalistka, for one, say female journalist, and a cosmonaut, a cosmonaut. The Russians are very proud of being the first country in space. Really, realistically speaking, how many people in Russia or even in the Soviet Union were actually cosmonauts? Very few, but they really like to feature cosmonauts in their popular media. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what the journalistka and the cosmonaut have to say to each other.
Здравствуйте. Недавно, прилетев из космоса, вы написали книгу. О чем она?
О космосе, о том, какая наша Земля из космоса, о звездах.
А как вы стали космонавтом?
Закончив школу, я поступил в авиационный институт, а закончив его, я поступил в школу космонавтов.
Космос — это ваша мечта?
Ну, я начал мечтать о космосе, посмотрев, как Гагарин первый раз полетел в космос.
А жить на орбитальной станции не трудно? Много дней без друзей, без семьи.
Прожив на станции первые 2 месяца, я привык, сейчас нетрудно.
Чем вы будете заниматься потом?
Закончив летать, я буду инструктором в школе космонавтов, ну и еще буду рисовать картины.
О космосе и звездах?
Конечно, о чем еще?
All right. Nice little dialogue. All right, so let's go ahead and get things started. So she says,
Здравствуйте.
hello.
Недавно, прилетев из космоса, вы написали книгу.
Let's go ahead and fill in the blank here. What does belong in the blank there? It's прилетев. So, прилетев из космоса, вы написал книгу. So, недавно, not long ago or recently, прилетев из космоса, so having flown in from the cosmos, from space, вы написали книгу. So here we see our first participle already. And again, it's прилетев, he finished flying. So it's a perfective form of the verb because he's not flying or he wasn't flying. She's saying you finished flying. Having finished flying here from space, you wrote a book. That's the point.
О чем она?
About what is she? Kniga, book, is feminine. So what is your book about? About what is she?
О космосе,
About space.
о том, какая наша Земля из космоса, о звездах.
So about that which our Earth is from space, like about what our planet Earth is from space, and about stars. Звездах is about stars.
А как вы стали космонавтом?
And how did you become an astronaut?
Закончив школу, я поступил в авиационный институт, а
So let's go ahead and fill in the blank there. Закончив школу. So so having finished school, and again this is perfected because he finished finishing. Having finished finishing school, I enrolled in the Aviation Institute.
закончив его, я поступил в школу космонавтов.
Okay. So once again we have it's the same word, isn't it? Yeah, закончив, it's the same word for both. Закончив его, and having finished the institute, I enrolled in the School of Cosmonauts, School of Space.
Космос — это ваша мечта?
Space, is it your dream?
Ну, я начал мечтать о космосе, посмотрев, как Гагарин первый раз полетел в космос.
Okay. Posmatrev. So he finished looking at Gagarin. So yeah, this is about Yuri Gagarin, who was the first man in first person, first human being in space. And so he's saying, I began to dream about space, having watched how Gagarin was the first time in space, or flew into space for the first time.
А жить на орбитальной станции не трудно?
Isn't life on an orbital station difficult?
Много дней без друзей, без семьи.
Many days without friends, without family.
Прожив на станции первые 2 месяца, я привык.
Okay, so what word did he say here? He said prajiv. Okay, so having lived, prajiv. So this is again perfective form because he's finished with it. Having lived on the station for the first 2 months, я привык. I'm used to it.
Сейчас не трудно.
Now it's not difficult.
Чем вы будете заниматься потом?
What you will basically what are you going to do next? What are you going to occupy yourself with after that?
Закончив летать, я буду инструктором в школе космонавтов. Ну,
Okay. And once again this word закончив. So, having finished with flying, I will become an instructor in the school of cosmonauts.
ну и еще буду рисовать картины.
And also I will paint paintings or pictures.
О космосе и звездах?
Paintings about space and stars?
Конечно, о чем еще?
Of course, and what else? Or what else would it be? Okay, so there we go. So here, once again, we have the same old subject of perfective and imperfective verbs. It's an important subject in Russian, which surfaces again and again while learning Russian. Yeah, it's really the same idea here. So, okay, here we go. Complete the sentences with the correct endings for the adverbial participles. So, what do we have here? We have... Посмотрит something film, мы вышли из кинотеатра. So having watched the film, we exited from the кинотеатр, from the cinema theater. Okay, so посмотрев film. You can see the options here are basically v or vshis. And actually, I'm just realizing you can tell by the length of these boxes what they expect, because obviously vshis is several characters longer than v. So, I'm going to cheat a little bit and just put the v in places where it's obviously supposed to be there, and then I'll just copy vshis into places where it's always supposed to be. I mean, it's kind of cheating, to be honest, but it's kind of cheap, I realize that, but I'll go over these and read them. So, once again, посмотрев фильм, мы вышли из кинотеатра. Having watched the film, we left the cinema. Вернувшись с работы, мама начала готовить ужин. So, having returned from work, Mama began to prepare dinner. Построив город на реке Неве, Петр I назвал его Санкт-Петербургом. So, построив, having built the city on the river Neva, Peter I named him St. Petersburg. Успешно сдав экзамены, он стал бакалавром. So, успех is success. So having successfully passed the examinations, he began his, I guess he became a baccalaureate. He became somebody with a bachelor's degree. So this is right. Okay, so he passed the exams for his bachelor's degree. Having passed his exams, he became a baccalaureate, someone with a bachelor's degree. Приехав на встречу, он понял, что забыл документы. So, arriving at the meeting, he remembered that he had forgotten the documents. Нарисовав картину, художник подарил ее музею. So, having painted the painting or the picture, the artist gave it to the museum. Купив домашний кинотеатр, вы сможете смотреть качественное кино дома. Having bought a home theater, you can watch movies at home. Having bought a home theater, you can watch movies at home. Проснувшись рано утром, я вспомнил, что сегодня что сегодня суббота и можно спать дальше. Having woken up early in the morning, I remembered that today is Saturday and I can continue to sleep. I can sleep further. Заплатив за квартиру вовремя, можно спокойно жить дальше. Having paid for the apartment or for the residence in time, it's possible to peacefully live on. So having paid for your residence on time, you can peacefully live on. And finally, сказав А, говори и Б. Having said A, also say B. I wonder what's the origin of this term. I've never heard this saying. I've never heard this saying in English, but in German there's also the phrase, wer A sagt, der muss auch B sagen. Who says A must also say B. And this is almost an exact translation. Well, here it says, having said A, also say B, but the intention is obviously the same. So basically, if you say something, you should then bring that thought to its conclusion. You shouldn't break off your thoughts. You shouldn't break off what you're saying. If you commit yourself to something, then go ahead and say those thoughts all the way to the end. But I've heard this many times in German, but I've never heard this in English. So I wonder, did the Germans borrow it from someone, or did the Russians borrow it from the Germans? Don't know. The Russians borrowed a lot of things from the Germans, and also from Latin and other important languages. But anyway, okay. So once again, here we have a small example. Uznav becomes uznal with a phrase like this. I'm not going to talk about it too long, but yeah, adverbial participles denoting result, which of course is perfective verbs, because perfective verbs denote a result, a completed action. So yeah, here are various examples. Okay, I see. So basically, reflexive verbs that end with sia become vshis in their adverbial form here, and pretty much everything else just becomes v. That's the difference between v and vshis. Okay, that seems reasonably straightforward. That doesn't seem too difficult, he said, not knowing what was ahead. All right, let's see now. So, form the adverbial participles from the given perfective forms. Oh boy, what fun this is. Okay, so, подключать. To connect. What is the adverbial participle? It is, I'm just going to copy and paste this over here, so I have to, just to minimize how much I have to type. Podключив. There we go. Uznat, to learn. The adverbial form, uznav. Заинтересоваться. To become interested, to get interested in something. The adverbial participle form is заинтересовавшись. Once again, notice these that have sia on the end, they're reflexive verbs, and so these with sia on the end. So that one, this one, and this one. Those three in this list will have fshis on the end. In fact, so I don't forget, let me just go ahead. Well, I don't think I'll forget, but I'll just put that there just to kind of denote those. Okay, uyehat, to walk away or to to leave. Sorry, I think that's actually it's drive away, isn't it? Yeah, to leave by driving. Participle form is uyechav. There we go. Okay, vernutia, to come back or to return. Participle form is, or adverbial participle form is vernuvsish. There we go. I already had the vsish there. Zarbotat, to earn, I believe. Yeah, I believe that means to earn something. Zarabotav. Okay. Zakazat, to order something. Adverbial participle form is zakazav. Pozdorovatsya. Basically to say здравствуйте, because people greet each other by saying здравствуйте, and to pozdorovatsya means to greet someone by saying здравствуйте, or I guess more generally just to say hello. So, what is the adverbial participle form? It is pozdorovavshis. Yes. Prajit, to live, or to finish living, actually, the perfective form. So basically to have finished living. Adverbial form, prajiv. And finally, stilat, as I mentioned, I think, not too long ago, to finish something to the end, not just to do something, but to finish doing something. Adverbial participle form is stilav. There we go. Okay. And continuing on, we need to transform the sentence here into an appropriate sentence here using the adverbial participle. So let's get to it. The first one says, Клиент позвонил и сказал, что встреча отменяется. So the client called and said that meeting canceled. Okay, so we need the adverbial participle form of poзвonil, to call by telephone, I guess, usually. So poзвoniv. Poзвoniv, so calling, the client said that the meeting was canceled. Он прочел несколько километров и понял, что заблудился. He walked a few kilometers and understood that he was lost. So, прочел, the form here is proidya. So having walked a few kilometers, he understood that he was lost. Девочка открыла дверь и увидела клоуна. Excuse me, sorry. The girl opened the door and saw a clown. Okay. Sorpresa. Okay, so the adverbial participle form of open here is открыв. So, opening the door, the girl saw a clown. Surprise. Okay, студент сдал экзамены и получил диплом бакалавра. Once again, something about passing the exam and getting a bachelor's degree. So the student passed the exams and got a bachelor's degree. So, сдал, what is the participle form here? It is sdav, believe it or not. Sdav exameni. So, giving the exams or passing the exams, passing the exams, the student got a bachelor's diploma. Он съел весь шоколад и был очень рад. He ate all the chocolate and was very happy. Он был очень рад съев весь шоколад. He was very glad having eaten all the chocolate. I wonder if is this like a common rhyme because it is rhyme. It does rhyme. Rad and chocolad. He was very glad having eaten all the chocolate. Преподаватель объяснил теорему и потом нарисовал схему. So, преподаватель, the teacher, explained the theory and then drew a schema, or I guess a diagram. So we're looking for the participle form of explain. So having explained the theory, the teacher drew a diagram. Okay, what is the participle form here? It is ob with a strong sign. Объяснив. There we go. Объяснив теорему, преподаватель нарисовал схему. Okay. Она вернулась в родной город и не узнала его. So she returned to her city of birth, to her birth city, and didn't recognize him because city is masculine. So she returned to her hometown and didn't recognize it. So what is the participle form of вернулась? It is вернув. Is that right? Yeah, вернувшись. I think that's right. Вернувшись в родной город, она не узнала его. Returning to her birth city, she didn't recognize him or it. Друзья хорошо отдохнули на даче и в воскресенье поехал домой. So, the friends rested well at the dacha. Here, dacha being, like a Russian summer home or vacation home. И в воскресенье поехали домой. And on Sunday, went home. Okay, so отдохнули is to rest. What is the adverbial participle form here? Отдохнув. Хорошо, отдохнув на даче. Having rested well at the dacha, the friends on Sunday went home. Okay, next one. Биолог исследовал новый вид бактерий и открыл еще один тип. So the biologist investigated a new vid, like a new type of bacteria, and открыл discovered yet another type. So the biologist was studying one type of bacteria and discovered yet another type. Okay, so исследовал is basically to study or to examine. So what's the adverbial participle form here? It is исследовав. Исследовав новый вид бактерий. Having examined a new type of bacteria, the biologist discovered yet another type. Okay, and last one for this part. Только когда мы заплатили за билет большие деньги, мы смогли сесть на хорошее место. So, only when we paid for the ticket a lot of money, we could sit in a good place. So we could only sit in a good place after we'd paid big money. Заплатили, having paid. So what's the adverbial participle form here? It is zaplativ. There we go. Только заплатив за билет большие деньги, мы смогли сесть на хорошее место. Okay. And finally, a cool down exercise at the end. Let's see how this goes. So, закончив работать, so having finished the work. У нас был ужин. We had dinner. No, we went to dinner. Мы пошли ужинать. We went to eat. Заинтересовавшись этой проблемой, so, is that right? Having become interested in this problem, I believe is the text. Let's make sure that I'm translating that right. Yeah. Being interested in this problem. Я решил изучить ее. I decided to study her, because problem is feminine. Проблема. Прожив в Москве 10 лет. So having lived in Moscow for 10 years. I mean, really, this could be all of these. So he had many friends. He could speak well in Russian, or with him was his family. I mean, it could be all of these, but I think the answer you're looking for is he could speak Russian well. Okay, встретившись с родителями, so meeting with his meeting with parents. Yeah, сын. So this is about the сын, the son. So meeting with parents, сын был очень рад. The son was very happy. Они дали сыну денег. They gave the son money. Or у них был прекрасный семейный ужин. Wait, what? Hold on. What does that say? Oh, right. They had a beautiful family dinner. Again, this could be all of these, couldn't they? Oh yeah, okay. Сын был очень рад. That's the answer you're looking for. And finally, подключив компьютер к интернету. So having connected the computer to the internet. Нужно заплатить много денег. You need to pay a lot of money. Вы должны купить модем. You have to buy a modem. Or можно найти люблю информацию. You can find any information, arbitrary information, whatever you want to find. I think technically the correct answer is the second one. You need a modem. I mean, not a telephone. Usually these days you don't use a telephone modem. You still need some kind of interface device to connect a computer to the internet. But I think the answer you're looking for here is the third one. You can find any information, even though it's not really correct. You can't really find any information in the world on the internet. But that seems to be the answer they are expecting here. So I guess it must have been since they marked it as correct. All right, that was lesson 66. So this was our last lesson about participles. So let's go ahead and review it one last time longingly, because I know we're all going to miss these participles so much. This is the dialogue between the journalist and the cosmonaut. This is us filling in some blanks, or having filled in some blanks. This is, again, having filled in some blanks. We reviewed the zadania, the exercise. And here again, having filled in the form, we reviewed the contents. Yes, I'm actively using the adverbial participle form here now. And then this is the zadanie 5. All right, that is it for participles. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope I'll see you next time when we cover something that's not just about participles. I'll see you then, folks. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.